George Ennin was on his way to work as a security guard in the Bronx when an apparent stranger tried to trip him and then seconds later fatally stabbed him.
Ennin, a father of two, he died. And now New York cops are looking for the killer and for some answers as well. Who is it? And why did he do it?
Ennin was stabbed at East 153rd Street and 3rd Avenue in the Melrose section. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles is live at the scene with her lead story tonight. Darla.
Liz and Bill, neighbors of 53-year-old George Ennin are really trying to wrap their heads around this tonight. He was beloved by his neighbors, not a negative word to be said at all, only kind words. This is where the incident happened yesterday, and George Ennin was a strong man. He was a security guard, but it happened. He was stabbed randomly just along this sidewalk, and what happened, which is really tragic, do you see the uneven bricks near that tree? He stumbled backwards as he was fighting off his attacker. He stumbled backwards on those uneven bricks. He fell to the ground, and that's when he lost his fighting advantage.
This man was one in a million. He was a diamond in the rough. He raised two daughters single-handedly.
53-year-old George Ennin was a girl dad. He was well-loved and well-respected for it.
Well-dressed, good-looking man, smell good, mannerable.
The NYPD now searching for this man for violently stabbing Ennin to death on 3rd Avenue with no warning at all, for no reason at all. It happened near East 157th Street in the Melrose section of the Bronx Monday afternoon.
The nature of what happened to George is gruesome.
Just before 2 o'clock, the 53-year-old who just returned from a month-long trip home to Ghana is last seen leaving his apartment building, headed to work as a security guard. He actually walks past the 42nd precinct, and a few blocks away, surveillance video shows a man coming from the opposite direction, trying to kick him. Ennin blocking the sudden blow, and the suspect stumbles, but regains his footing and charges after Ennin with a knife. Eyewitness News freezing the video here before the stabbing occurs.
How do you go home? You would go halfway around the world to come back to get murdered?
The surveillance video continues, which is too disturbing to air, shows after Ennin is stabbed, he gets up, manages to take 29 steps halfway down the sidewalk looking for help, but collapses 57 seconds later.
When I was walking to go to the pharmacy, I seen it. I just walked around it. I didn't know it was him.
Investigators hoping the suspect's jacket with large white lettering and a fur collar will help to quickly identify the person who took the life of a man who neighbors say had the kindest of hearts.
He was trying to get away and he ends up tripping. That's crazy.
He made a home for those two girls. They're college bound, they're A students. He worked, he started over here at the supermarket. From that, he wanted to do security.
So if you take a look at the uneven bricks in the tree, that is where Ennin was stabbed, fell to the ground. But again, those 29 steps along this sidewalk, it took 57 seconds. That's about a minute to get to where I'm standing, to where he ultimately collapsed. When you think about someone who had suffered all of those injuries, it is quite remarkable that he walked from there to here. The big thing now is to find the suspect.
So let's go over into it.
Tonight at 11 with some breaking news. An arrest in the deadly stabbing of a man on his way to work. It happened in the Melrose section, and investigators say it was unprovoked. Now police sources telling us the suspect in custody has 20 prior offenses. Naveen Dhaliwal spoke with people who knew this father of two.
This disturbing surveillance video is now the center of a homicide investigation in the Bronx as a man is viciously and fatally stabbed in broad daylight on 3rd Avenue in Melrose Monday afternoon.
I heard a scream when we turned around. I didn't see none. Then I see a man stumbling. See a guy running up the block.
Raymond Febres was working construction when he heard the chaos. In surveillance just moments earlier, you see the suspect walking down the sidewalk, then turning around and approaching 53-year-old victim George Ennin. Then the man lunges at Ennin, trying to kick him as Ennin dodges the kick before trying to run away, but then unfortunately trips on the sidewalk and falls. The suspect chases him down and begins to repeatedly stab him with a sharp object. We have paused the video here due to the graphic nature of the attack. The suspect then can be seen running away.
I run across the street. I realized I called 911. 10 or 12 cop cars come in, but it was too late. He was gone by then.
The entire attack happened at 2 p.m. in broad daylight in front of nearby businesses and passing traffic. Stunned and heartbroken friends gathered near the scene.
This man was one in a million. He was a diamond in the rough.
Friends say Enan was a father of two who worked as a security guard and just returned from a trip to Africa.
You would go halfway around the world to come back to get murdered? You're on your way to work?
Now police have arrested 38-year-old Sean Jones from the Bronx. He is facing charges including murder, manslaughter, and criminal possession of a weapon. But that's little closure to Enan's friends, who are struggling to understand why his life ended so senselessly.
When I would see him, always had a smile on his face. I'm kind of at a loss for words at this moment.
That's the biggest question. Why attack him? You didn't know if he was just looking for a victim or if he specifically had him in mind. The surveillance footage makes it look like that he was just looking for any person. He might have attacked the woman at first, but he decided to attack the person that when he turned around. It's a crazy situation. Let's go over, how I like to do the AI overview, so let's go over into that. So January 5th, the 53-year-old security guard and father was fatally stabbed. Happened around 2 p.m. at 3077 3rd Avenue and East 157th Street. The victim, George, was a immigrant described by the neighbors as a devoted father. Surveillance captured the attack. They say that he managed to take about 29 steps before he collapsed. So the suspect, Sean Jones, 38, a resident of Moore, Savannah, I don't know how to say that, was arrested on Tuesday afternoon, January 6, 2026, after being identified through surveillance video. Criminal history, he's described by authorities as a career criminal with over 20 prior arrests. He was charged with manslaughter, criminal possession of a weapon, and murder. He is expected to be arraigned in court today, 2026. Let's see if we can figure out what his prior arrests were for. Has extensive criminal history, 20 prior arrests, dating back to 2012. Authorities describe him as a career criminal. So the key prior offenses, he got violent robberies from 2019 to 2020. He pleaded guilty to robbery and assault, grand larceny, and harassment for attacking two women in the Bronx in March 2019. In one attack, he punched a woman in the face and stomped on her head to steal her EBT card. 2 days later, he punched and kicked another woman, breaking several of her ribs and her wrist, her orbital bone, to steal $13 and a cell phone. For these violent felonies, he was sentenced to 4 months in probation. Assaulting an officer. So Jones was charged with biting a police officer while being arrested for a subway fare beating incident. His rap sheets include multiple arrests for robbery and assault, criminal possession of a weapon, criminal sale of marijuana, forgery, criminal trespassing, and fare evasion. Mental health history. Jones has been the subject of 4 prior police reports regarding an emotional disturbed person. Following his arrest for the murder of George Aaron, he was taken into a psychiatric facility for evaluation to determine if he was fit to stand trial. So that's a question. Are they going to? I hope they don't play it off for mental health. Because look at this rap sheet. Look, he was punching women in the head with it for an EBT card for $13 and a cell phone. Some people just don't deserve to be on the streets. Some people do not deserve to be on the streets. It's a crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said.